Reality and Chill with Kenny.
And Nishi. Alrighty.
What's in store today, Nishi?
So, this episode of our podcast, we are going to recap Summer House. So, we've had reunion, the first episode of the reunion. So, let's break it down. Starting off with the set. I don't know. I love the set. Like, they go so over the top. You don't like it?
Yeah, no, I like that they go over the top. I mean, the whole blue blanket thing, it was pretty funny when West was walking through it and stuff, like it was gold. Yeah, I mean, maybe I'm just a bit over the bed bug stuff, you know what I mean? Like,
fair.
It could just be me with how I'm feeling about Sierra at the moment. You know, there's a like a dark, I have a dark vibe for her at the moment, just in her behaviour with Lexi.
Yeah, right. Should we get into it first? Do you want to go through Sierra or should we start with Paige?
Yeah, I mean, as they walked in, we can sort of talk about outfits and all kinds of things because I thought they all looked stunning. But it was really interesting that when Paige was one of the first to enter in, and you could see there's a real Andy and Paige obviously have a real connection there. You could see that dynamic. Like Paige is an it girl. There's no doubt about it. Like she has landed, you know.
She has landed. She has the first seat. You know, it's a big deal on where everyone's seated with the reunion. That number one seat next to Andy, everyone wants it.
Right?
And she's there.
I mean, she did it with aplomb. There was no nervousness. She was so natural. You know what I mean? I was just like, yeah, she deserves that spot. I mean, yeah, it was pretty amazing that Amanda was on the other side, but really it was Paige that entered in first and they had their own time and then Sierra followed Paige, right? So then Sierra came in.
Yep. Yes. Actually, yes. I actually loved Paige's outfit. I mean, her outfits are pretty all 10 out of 10, but I didn't like Sierra's outfit if we're just going to talk about outfits. I felt like it was very frumpy.
With the white thing there, and I didn't like her hair either. Yeah, no, I think Sierra's looked a lot better in the past. I don't know, there's something about her energy that it's just, I'm finding her right now not light and bright. She's such a gorgeous woman, but all I see is this kind of negativity with her, which I know she opened up about her family and stuff, but I feel like there's some healing. Actually, it was really interesting. The Sierra stuff was really interesting. The fact that she did say that she was, where did she, Costa Rica?
Oh, Costa Rica or something. So she went away to Costa Rica for a couple of weeks, and that's when she turned her phone off to Wes. It was after the breakup, sounded like.
So, but because that's like a really famous ayahuasca space. So Costa Rica, when people go for those kind of places, that's generally what they're doing. And it's like where Shep went previously. The fact that there was no phones and stuff. And she's never admitted that, but I wouldn't be surprised if that's it. And it does sound like she's got quite a bit of trauma in her background. But yeah, it's kind of like the number one most expensive place on the globe is this particular really world-renowned in Costa Rica. So,
well,
if I've said it right, but
that makes sense then, because she said she was going for a retreat and she had to have her phone off because they usually do, right? So, yeah, that actually tracks. Okay, interesting. I know that you have certain feelings for Sierra at the moment, and I agree with you. I think I found it very interesting when she opened up about her family, because that's the first time we really heard about how full on it was with her family, like her dad not being in the picture, her mum having multiple marriages, and she just felt really broken about that. And obviously that affects her relationships and her friendships, and we've seen that now. She gets so closed off. She can be really aggressive. I don't know. For me, I actually started to understand her a little bit more, and it explained it. It doesn't excuse the behavior and how she can be so nasty, but for me, it explained it and kind of opened my eyes. What are your thoughts?
Yeah, I mean, I feel for Sierra, but I find it frustrating that she paints herself as a victim. I'm over it. Like, she's got so much going for her. She's a nurse. She's got her own career. She's incredibly beautiful. She's got these great friends. And I find that her focus on what she doesn't have is frustrating for me. I just think she's got the world at her feet. And I think the reason why I'm frustrated about it, I'd probably be less frustrated, but when she's picking on the new cast member, not being a sister to her, it's hard for me to find the same place in my heart. And instead, I'm just like, you know, like, why are you picking on this new gorgeous girl in the cast, which I feel she has? Yeah, sorry, can't do it. Like, I'm not into her.
She's not a girl's girl, and I think that's I don't like that about her, because I love a good girl's girl, and you can see she wasn't a girl's girl to Lexi at all, by the way she handled with Jessie. Even just by, she's not warm. She doesn't warm up to the newbies at all. It's like
Yeah.
very cold until she lets you in. She's very, very cold.
But at the same time, everybody's meant to handle her with kid gloves. And that's the hypocrisy is what I can't stand, right? So I'm not into that. I'm like, you expect this when you're hurting, when Wes behaves a certain way, or, like we say, that whole winter house scandal and stuff. But like, there's a certain way people are meant to behave around you and be concerned about your well-being. And, you can see everybody does treat her with kid gloves. And yet it's okay for you to treat the new, younger cast member like that. I don't vibe. I don't vibe with the hypocrisy. She can go and screw herself. Like, I'm really over Sierra, big time.
Wow.
Yeah.
No, I think that's a fair call. It wasn't her best season for sure, and we've definitely seen some nasty side of her. Should we talk Paige and Craig? Paige and Craig.
We're never going to get sick of it. Like, it was just so funny when Paige came out and Andy was sort of taking the piss going, oh, I bet you're really excited to talk about your relationship again, like your ex-boyfriend. And she's like, oh, I can't wait. Like, she must be so over it by now, Could you imagine? It's every single conversation it gets brought up. People are so invested in what's going on there.
I know. And I mean, look, they broke up in November. It's now, we're almost midway through the year. Like, the fact that they have to relive all of that is like crazy.
Yeah.
It's hard. So do you think, number one question, do you think Craig bought the ring? I just
Absolutely not.
So
no, I think Craig is a liar. I definitely think, but I also think she's always known that, right? So Paige, again, it's like, hang on, Craig's been exactly the same person from season 1 in Southern Charm, right? He's always been like that, and I was like, you either fell in love with him because you can handle the quirkiness, and I love how she's like, oh, I can see all his tells when he's lying. I know his tells, so she knows he's a liar. She knows how to sort of call it out. It's like, yeah, Paige, at the same time, like, you fell in love with that liar. You know what I mean? But yeah, there's no way he bought the ring. And he definitely tried to manipulate her to feel guilty and stuff. And at the end of the day, he was heartbroken. And that's just what he did as his little coping mechanism. I mean, don't throw it too much in his face. It is kind of funny though. But again, he should never have taken Paige on, because now she's going to be pretty damning and doing it in a really clever way to get back at you. And you're kind of screwed now, Craig.
She's a force to be reckoned with. She's so witty.
Yeah.
I love that about her.
Yeah.
She's so funny. And I mean, he crossed her the line and now that's it.
She's an it girl. He didn't understand that, like, where the pegging line is, she's way above him. And I hate to talk in that language, but it's true, in terms of influence and all of that. So he's sort of outplayed his cut. He thought he could sort of get away with trying to take her down a few notches, and he's really misread his hand, because he's completely screwed now. Like, he shouldn't have taken on the queen. Like, you idiot.
I know, and I love that Southern Charm played out, and then now we've seen Summer House play out. So it's pretty unique that we've been able to see both sides.
Yeah, it is.
At the same time, which is really cool. I was going to say something else. Now I've forgotten. He kept talking about how he was blindsided, and they cleared that up as well. It's like, no, he wasn't really blindsided. We all saw it coming.
Yeah.
But I guess it's an ego thing, right? His ego has been bruised, so he was maybe do you reckon, like, sort of being defensive? Yeah,
I think as well, it's kind of sad, because I think that their relationship, remember when he was like, well, I'd be a fool. This is like going back a couple of seasons ago. And he was visiting Summer House, and he had a conversation with Carl saying, well, we might break up. I'd be a fool to think that this was a definite. It's probably more likely we will break up than we'll stay together. Just looking at, like, data on relationships is trying to have this kind of open conversation. So I think back then there were signs that they weren't going to work out. Back then he was sort of saying, what do you want? And it was pretty clear that they didn't want the same things. And that was like, I don't know, like 18 months ago. So I think this is him trying to hold on to something that he was losing. It was organically going from what was a beautiful love affair to no longer being in love. And I think he just couldn't handle that change. But the truth is, the tighter he held on, like, it was definitely going to split up. It's obvious now, looking back, it was always going to split up. And it's sad for him, because he was the one holding on. Whereas if he just sort of let go, he may have met the love of his life a bit sooner.
I know. Apparently he's moved on. Hey, he's got some girlfriend.
Yeah, that's
a
it.
blonde chick or something. So anyways.
But you think about it, like Lindsay and Cole, like how quickly that turned around. You're better off just letting go
Absolutely.
and moving on. It's sometimes trying to cling on. And I do believe, like, you know, marriages or whatever, and some relationships you want to work at it. But when you can see that you're not matched, that you're both not as committed to each other, then just let it go, you know?
You call it and then you move on to the next chapter.
You have to, yeah.
Yeah, I agree with you. And the time has come. Next big topic I thought was Lexi and Jesse and Toegate. I mean, I'm sick of talking about Toegate, to be honest. But I didn't like how they, how they were talking about it. I mean, they were all having a giggle and Lexi's just sitting there like, this is not funny.
They've been disrespecting Lexi from day dot, like the whole collective there. Like it's just not that cool that like they were seeing each other and he goes into a bedroom where a threesome's going on. Like it doesn't matter which way you cut that. Like the fact that not all of them are having a go at him about just being an asshole. Like nobody, like it's just Lexi that has to now look like the one that's being dramatic. When the truth is you guys were in a relationship and he walked into a room where naked people had just had sex. Like,
yeah, weird.
Come on, like, and nobody is sticking up for her. I was disappointed with the whole cast, to tell the truth. I was hoping more from Lindsay. I was hoping, you know, I really was. I was hoping, like, not so much Sierra and Paige because they've never had her back, but Gabby and Lindsay, I thought could have stuck up for her during this episode.
Gabby's the only one that I felt somewhat has been supporting her, though. Like, she's sort of been in her corner a little bit. She should have spoken up a little bit more. And I think Amanda should have, because apparently Amanda was her friend or connection into the group.
That's so true. And, like, you could see Amanda doing that kind of little cackles as well and having the giggles and whatnot. It's just like, Amanda, if that had been your husband that had walked into the room, how would have everybody responded? If that had been anybody else, if that had been West last year, let's say, and he was sort of just starting to see Sierra, could you imagine how different it would be? And again, it's the hypocrisy that I can't stand. That's the injustice that really triggers me. And it's not that I even care one way or the other. It's the inconsistency, and then that, you know, like it's okay to treat somebody like crap, like Lexi, who's just so sweet. I really like her.
She is, and she held her own again, and I love
she
how
really
she's
has.
like, no, this is not funny. And Andy
it's not.
called it out. Yeah, it's like, no, she has to sit there, like you said, and just listen to it all. It's not funny. I hate how Jessie just plays everything down and makes everything a joke, because it's like, it's not a joke. It's not. It's such a nasty thing to do to her. It's like, just call it what it is. Obviously, you shouldn't have done it, but just be apologetic and don't make everything into a joke.
But again, this is where I'm sort of so now looking at the two sides of the coin. And it's like Jesse's behaving like that, but then it's all the enablers around him, which is the rest of the cast, that are allowing it. And I'm starting to get annoyed with the enablers of a situation rather than the prime person. So Jesse being the prime person behaving like that, but then who's on the receiving end and catching the ball and letting him behave like that? Like everybody on the cast. Therefore, I feel like they're all as bad as Jesse in this. I find them all guilty to make light of something that is not actually that funny at all, and it really broke somebody's heart and really screwed with the head as well. It's just ugly.
It is ugly. I mean, I'm sure they'll unpack it more in the next episode, like their whole relationship, but yeah, ugly to watch. I really felt for Lexi.
So did I. And like she's felt alone this whole season, and I think the way that the cast behaved in that moment, you could see her feeling alone yet again, sitting there on her own island pretty much, just going, I'm not going to feed into this and act like this is funny. Like, yeah. No. So yeah, I don't know. I just think you've laughed about Toegate the whole, like, it's not like you needed to laugh about it right then and there. Like, it wasn't that funny. Haven't we already laughed about it? You know what I mean? Like, it was really just mean, I thought.
It's getting boring.
Yeah. It is getting boring. Yawn.
As you would say.
Yawn. Yeah,
Yawn.
True.
Yes. Imral. I think we should talk about Imral. We heard, the other newbie that came on.
Yeah.
I actually liked him sharing a little bit more about himself and his family. And, they talked about how everything was all about him being, the orgy beast or whatever they call him.
Yeah.
And his family dynamic, like, so what did he say? He's like, apparently
He
he was
wasn't
almost,
welcome to his nephew's birthday. Is that right? Was it his nephew's
yes,
birthday?
his
But
only
yeah, it's
nephew's
really
birthday.
sad. It's really, really sad, actually.
Yeah, I found that really sad. I mean, he obviously comes from, I actually think he probably comes from like a Muslim background,
He is
potentially.
Muslim background.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. And obviously super conservative. That's like really, not what they're allowed to do. So, did he actually attend? I can't remember. Did he attend the birthday in
No,
the end or no? He
I
was
don't
not
think he
invited at all.
did. No, so he was gonna go, and then he was disinvited, and that's the backlash of being on the show. And I think it's interesting because that's when they were sort of saying, well, like he'd sort of brought a few girls home, but did the guys make it worse by calling him like the orgy beast?
Creating the narrative. Yeah.
Yeah, and creating the narrative more or whatever. So I don't know. Like he seems like a nice guy, but like I say, the whole thing didn't gel with me. That style, I don't think sits well into the summer house, and it's. That might go for like, I don't know, what are these other reality shows that we don't watch, like Love in Paradise or something? I don't know. There's like a lot of other reality shows out there that are a bit more smutty. I'm not into them personally, right? So I kind of like our drama to be more about relationships and a little bit more traditional like that. Like I think once you get into sleeping with, yeah, I don't know. I feel like it's a different reality show. Like don't come into my summer house and muck it up.
It's so funny. We haven't talked about that, but yeah, I don't like those shows either. It's like Love Island and all of that sort
I'm
of
not
stuff.
into
It's
them.
different energy. No, no,
No,
no. That's
no.
not going to be on Reality and Chill, is it?
No, no,
We're
no.
not having that.
Reality and Chill doesn't do that type of stuff. Yeah.
No, but I think you're right. I mean, it is sad that that's the only sort of narrative for him this season. It would have been nice to hear a little bit more about him and his family. I think it's in terms of his background. So I feel like it's very similar. He's come from a very strict background. He was engaged really young, and now he's really exploring who he is outside of those restrictions.
That's
And
right. And it's the first Muslim we've had on the summer house, right? So it's a real bummer that we didn't get to explore this in a different way. Or have I got that wrong? But I'm pretty sure it's the first
no, I
Muslim we've
think
had
you're
on
right.
there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So yeah, very interesting. I wonder. I don't think he'll come back. It'll be interesting to see. I don't think he'll.
Oh, there's no way he's coming back. There's no
Yeah.
way. He wasn't a good fit. Like, he's a
He
nice
wasn't.
guy, but he's definitely not a good fit. And yeah, they just got it wrong. They regularly do that, by the way. Summer House has had so many bad, like, castings. I just don't understand it because, like, you could see with Jesse and Wes, that was great. But there's been so many, like, randoms that they've brought in and it just hasn't worked. Like, it should be obvious. Like, you need that lightness, kind of quirkiness, lightness. That's what works in the Summer House. Nothing too, you remember you had the muscle guy there one year that was just doing all the protein and it just was the wrong vibe for the house. It was like, how did they
Doesn't
get it
work.
so wrong?
Even I don't actually think Gabby's a really good fit. Like, what did she add this season?
You're quite right. I think, in a way, I think they've always needed to have, because Lindsay is also on an island, and I think that they do that so that Lindsay has some type of
Someone.
anchor there, because most of the time people are just tearing her down. But as Lindsay now is kind of graduating, I don't think Gabby will be around much either. I really think that this next year, I truly believe that Paige, Lindsay, Amanda will be doing something in New York, surely, right? And then I think the Summer House is going to be more Lexi, Jesse, West, and a bit
Yep.
of a new cast in the Summer House.
That makes actually a lot of sense. On Two Teas in a Pod, they were saying that Lindsay could potentially be a New York housewife.
Perfect. She would be great for that. Yeah.
I wonder whether that will happen. So do you think she
hope
won't be
so.
on next season, Lindsay? Like, will she be on next season?
Oh,
I don't
it's so funny. Did you notice that as well? Because she was kind of still in denial. She's still in denial that
She is.
it's all over. It's hilarious.
I can't wait to see what actually happens. She's just like, I swear she's going to bring her baby. She's going to bring her baby. We need to put bets on this.
Didn't Kyle say that? Look, the baby will probably come and visit like one weekend, but like
Yeah.
she can't be a permie anymore. She might be a friend of. But no, I think it makes much more sense for her to have graduated to the New York Housewives. They need a Lindsay.
They do. True.
Yeah.
Actually, that would be good for them. The New York Housewives need it.
Do you know, just talking of the housewives quickly, I've heard that Orange County, you know, the really rich chick, what's her name, that's married to the plastic surgeon? She's moving to Beverly Hills Housewives.
Heather.
Yeah. Have you heard that?
Heather and Terry, what's their last name? Anyway.
Yeah.
No, I heard rumors of that, but is that actually going to happen?
Well, maybe, you know, sometimes I talk to rumors like the fact, but yeah, I think it's happening.
I think it makes more sense for her. I think she's not a right fit for the OC. Like, she's too rich for
agreed.
the OC. She's a better fit. Was she ever in Beverly Hills? For some reason, I thought she was in Beverly Hills at some point. Was she?
Yeah, I don't know.
No,
she's never been in Beverly Hills, but like, I thought you meant living, but yeah.
I think that's what's confused me, because she has had houses in Beverly Hills.
Right.
But she's never been in the franchise. But
yeah, I think she's graduating to Beverly Hills.
yeah, better fit.
Yeah.
She's got big money. That's where it's different.
That's right. She's no longer Orange County. Get out of here.
No, and you know who I think would be better fit for OC? Teddy. I think Teddy should go to OC. They need to switch.
Well, this is interesting with Teddy and her recovery. I don't know. I don't want Teddy to be anywhere near the housewives. I want her to have a very gentle existence.
No, that's true. That's true. Yeah. Anyway.
Well, for the next episode of Summer House, like in terms of what we're expecting next week, is going to be more Jessie and Lexi. But what else really happened this season? I mean, they might dive a little bit into Carl and Lindsay, but there's not really much to uncover. I mean, Amanda and Kyle maybe with the child thing, but like really it was all Lexi and Jessie this season. So yeah, it'll be interesting to see what they bring.
They carried this season, to be honest.
Yeah,
Lexi
big time.
And Jessie, that whole storyline. But yeah, I think it'll be a bit more of Amanda maybe, and that whole situation, and then that's it. That is it. So all right, another episode of Reality and Chill done and dusted. Summer House recap. We're coming
so good.
to an end. Have a good day. Bye. Happy listening.